said I would show you how to use the phrase express in a short video if you haven't figured out on your own. And so at the website, phraseexpress.com. And this, by the way, is just one of the available options. Another one that people have long used is called textexpander.com. But anyway, so up here you go to download, and this happens to be a Mac. The Mac, you download it here, which I did, and then it has the instructions, which says must read. So you must read these. And this is because there are a number of security options for using Phrase Express in Mac. So you have to go in settings and under applications, and then change the security privacy to allow Phrase Express along with Zoom. If it's already there too, you'll see it. And also to give it full disk access. And for screen recording, that doesn't seem necessary. But so there are a few extra steps to make sure that Phrase Express is good to go on a Mac, I find. Seem to be a bit more straightforward on a PC. Anyhow, what I decided to use was the combining acute accent is command. Actually, what I ended up using was command semicolon, and then I use command shift semicolon for the combining ogonek. And the reason I chose to give the more simple command semicolon to the acute accent is that the acute accent is way more common as a combination. So there's high tone is quite frequent, whereas nasality is a lot less frequent in the language. It's still frequent, but not nearly as frequent as high tones. And so therefore I chose to use command and semicolon. And the reason I chose to use those is because command is right where my thumb is, and the semicolon is right where my pinky is on a normal, touch typing thing. So if I do command semicolon, it'll add that accent. Okay. If I had A, or say I, and then command shift, that will add the ogonek, and command semicolon will add the acute accent. Okay. And I chose command shift E for epsilon, and I chose command shift L for the barred L, the lateral fricative. And finally, I chose command slash for the glottal stop. Okay. So let me go to Phrase Express and to show you how that's set up. So the combining acute accent, if you like, you can just copy it from right here. And the combining acute accent, that's the name of my phrase, combining acute accent. This is where you paste the actual thing that you want to be inserted. And I use this hotkey down here where I recorded, in this case, command semicolon. And I selected execute immediately here. Okay. And so what this means is that as soon as I type command semicolon, it'll automatically insert an acute accent over the preceding symbol. Okay. With epsilon, you copy and paste the epsilon in here, and the hotkey here is, in my case, it's command shift E, and then I again selected execute immediately. The reason I chose command shift E for epsilon, even though command E would be a lot simpler, well, a little bit simpler, is because I tend to use command E for schwa. So let me add a new phrase to illustrate that. So this will be called schwa. Okay. And what I need is to find schwa in here. So I'll go to the IPA, say, right? And I can copy schwa, right? And go to phrase express, and then I'll paste it there. Oops, did a lot more than, it seems to have gotten a really fancy schwa from here, right? So actually I want a much simpler schwa than that. I just want the basic schwa right here, right? So let me go back there, and there's just your basic schwa. And I'm going to record the shortcut as Command E. Okay? And again, I want this to be executed immediately, like that. So now it's schwa's added over here. And so this means if I go back to Rome, now if I do Command E, it'll insert schwa. Now, schwa is not a symbol that's used in Dene Sonchine, but this is just to show how you could add all your characters of the IPA if you like, or whatever characters you use, using phrase express. So that's one way to do it, using combining acute accents and combining organics and so on. If you want to set up separate shortcut keys for each of the symbols, you can copy these and create a phrase. It could be something like Command Option A, or Control Option Shift A, and so on will get you all these different combinations. I'm not going to do that simply because I know that programs tend to use a lot of these symbols for various things, and I've copied a few of these. In a Mac, for instance, Command U is used to search for something in the database, and so therefore, if I used Command U as a shortcut to create an accented U or nasalized U, say, then that would interfere with that shortcut. And the same thing with Control Shift O is handy for opening a link under a cursor in the sidebar. Command Shift A is useful for selecting all blocks in a page. Control E helps you jump to the end of a block. So these are all arguments for me to not use Control E as a shortcut in Phrase Express to create an accented E and so on. Well, I think that's about it, and I'll just leave it there.